Hello, Rooted Podcasters. It's me, Pamela Benson Owens, back with another episode of Rooted. Today, my special guest is none other than my oldest child, Allison Sinclair Owens. Welcome to the show.
Thank you. Second time's the charm.
She's talking about our first run to not tape. And we were unplugged in that one, so we're probably thinking that was a God intervention, that maybe we didn't need to say all that.
Mm-hmm.
Probably the case. So, when we think back to our conversation that we had, and we will not spend a lot of time on the political rambunctiousness of the Kendrick Lamar onslaught of comments from the Super Bowl, but do you want to weigh in a couple minutes on that before we go into other things?
Yeah.
What are your thoughts about it?
So we are fresh off the Kendrick Lamar Super Bowl performance last night. I loved it. I think you did too.
I did.
I think it's recently today, the day after that we're recording this, it's Monday after the Super Bowl, and it's been getting a lot of feedback on the social medias.
Social media and on the interwebs.
Yeah, I think it went over a lot of people's heads.
Sure.
For sure. But I really loved it. I think the messaging in there was very powerful.
So I went to bed settled in it and in admiration of this artistic genius of that. And about 11 o'clock last night, I endured what can only be described as a purely ignorant comment from a white woman saying, they didn't understand their audience. Did they know their audience? And I got to tell you, as somebody that has agency over my emotions, I work really hard to be regulated in the space. I've been doing this work a long time. I teach people all the time about staying in the bus and not being reactive. I was livid at the pure audacity, also known as caucasity, to think that every single offering and thing that is done in the world of entertainment has to be for the white dominant class. And so by this morning, I wrote a blog post about it and put it out. And I really actually have a dangerous level of I don't give a damn.
Mm-hmm.
Because that just shows you how deep in the brain and the crevices of unconscious bias. And this is, I find it to be most prevalent in white progressive women. So I actually wrote that and then I felt better about it. People have been, foddering back and forth about it all day. I don't even care about the comments. Eventually, at a certain point, I'm going to say what I need to say about it. And that's it. It's actually not even up for debate or dialogue. I'm tired of it. I'm sick of having to be in spaces where I have to, speak the Queen's English and stick the landing and be all the things, only for somebody to say some shit like that. Mm-hmm. So I was furious. And then I realized tonight when I was walking with your dad that the other part that's missing from this conversation is it's artistic expression. And that's what I love about the arts. It's supposed to push you and make you think and make you uncomfortable and challenge the status quo and be an agitator in things that are unjust, not just. So that comment specifically, and there's a lot said, but that comment specifically bothered me because it's so interesting how white people are good with their garden variety Black person, the one that's, not questioning stuff. But the minute we show up blackety black unapologetically, it creates a discomfort that brings into place the racism. So I mean, that's all I'll say about it. But I was ready to go for broke on that today because I thought the absolute gall of people to walk around thinking that it's always about them and for them. we don't care. It was not your audience. As a matter of fact, it actually was your audience. And if you weren't so committed to making sure that Black people shuck and jive and entertain you, you may have been educated by that piece that Kendrick Lamar did last night.
And it never gave token Black friend over here, because we're going to be who we are.
And we're broke.
I really loved, I think we're coming off of 2 very Black weekends. I was thinking about this. We had Doechii blow the house down at the Grammys. Kendrick Lamar swept at the Grammys.
Yep.
Queen Bee took home. Cowboy Carter
almost came out of her seat.
Finally, which I think we should spend a minute on that. But
you mean that country music was actually created and born by Black people?
Yes, and they finally gave her Album of the Year.
Right.
Wait right there. I hope you're enjoying the episode, but the Rooted Podcast is sponsored by For the Culture Coffee. For the Culture Coffee is a Black-owned family business dedicated to sustaining Black culture. They offer K-Cups, coffee beans, and ground coffee in a variety of flavors, and you can sip them at fortheculturecoffee.com.
But like she stole something. If she stole anything, she stole it back.
Right. And back to this really quickly. I think, very Black weekends. I thought the Super Bowl this year was very Black. Lettucey blew the house down on that.
Brilliant.
I mean, sung her butt off.
Face gone.
John Batiste, loved him, always have.
Blackity Black.
Loved it.
Yep.
2 Black quarterbacks on both teams. What?
I hate to bring it up, but
this was 5 won the Super Bowl.
Let's think about UT women's basketball team.
Oh my gosh. Wait,
I'm an Aggie.
We're going to have to take a minute for this one. Yes, yesterday I went to the UT women's basketball, Texas versus South Carolina, and we took home the win. Big win.
Yep.
And the atmosphere was crazy. I saw Dawn Staley in the flesh, saw Holly Rowe in the flesh, 2 of my just
heroes.
Sheroes, look up to them, love them. Saw all the South Carolina basketball players. I could go into it, but I had a time. Atmosphere was crazy.
What cracks me up that you're saying we had 2 Black weekends in a row. You mean outward facing, because in this house,
right?
It's always
made me forget who the president was. So Black. I was like, "What's going on here?" I loved it.
Well, let's put some money on the executive orders that are coming around. No more Black people for halftime shows at the Super Bowl.
It's a DEI.
It's.
I mean,
it's coming.
The DEI.
It's coming.
Yeah.
Yep. Yeah.
But Cowboy Carter. I want to talk about that for a second.
Okay.
I think. First of all, there was a lot of controversy. First of all, about her taking home Country Album of the Year and Album of the Year.
Mm-hmm.
However, I do think that she won Album of the Year because Jay-Z got up there last year and cursed him out when he won the Global Impact Award. It made such a good point. How does she have the most Grammys in history but has never won Album of the Year one time? And I will say, I really thought Billie Eilish was going to get it. I don't know if you listened to her album, but she produced a great album this year. I fully was expecting them to give it to Taylor Swift again, or I didn't even actually know Taylor Swift put out an album this year, but I was fully expecting it to go to Taylor Swift or Billie Eilish. And because y'all know, I was a Billie Eilish fan. Still am, love her. But I love, I root for everybody Black, so I love Queen Bee more.
Well, let's back up a minute. Let me take a step back on the Grammys. So your father and I have been to the Grammys. I find it interesting the last couple years. I don't care who is being shown in that production, who is on the stage. Why do you want to talk about, let's get it. If my girlfriends were here who don't look like me, I'd be all in this conversation. Why is the cutaway always a Taylor Swift? Let's talk about it. Why? Because the standard of beauty in America is white. So it doesn't matter who is on the stage. Every single cutaway, whether it was Alicia Keys that night, whether it was Queen Latifah that night, whether it was Queen Bee that night, they cut back to Taylor Swift, Rhythmless Nation.
And she was drunk. Oh, Mom, Taylor Swift had a good time. Rhythmless Nation? I just realized what you said. No, but Taylor Swift had a good time, and I think, I didn't want to see her no more.
I don't have a problem with her. I think she puts on a great show. But the bottom line is, let us address, this is the unconscious stuff that I'm always having to talk to my girlfriends that don't look like me about. Why is every cutaway to Taylor Swift?
Mm-hmm.
Y'all miss a whole just amazing sea of women of color, of beauty on that floor that night. And we didn't see any of them.
I didn't miss them because
I mean, we saw the side of Gayle King's face.
Yeah, but because I think it's also who's looking at it, depending on where you gear most of your attention towards. I think I was looking at all of them and I thought they were great. Yeah, sure, were the white folks probably mad, but like, who cares? They're always pressed about something. But I think I was just very impressed. It was giving black. I loved it. She won album of the year, which I thought for Cowboy Carter, I think it was deserving, but like, you didn't give it to her for Lemonade or when she didn't get Lemonade, I was like, okay, I was hurt. I was like, that don't make sense. But when she didn't get it for Renaissance, you know how much I loved that album.
But what else can you do at that point?
I was at that point. I was like, this is rigged.
It feels personal.
I mean, there's something clearly wrong. And she lost to Harry Styles for Renaissance. Renaissance was, in my opinion, her best album.
Let me take one step back again to something that's not talked about enough. I want to just, and maybe it's because it's Black History Month and, again, the shortest month, 28 days. Mm-hmm. So I'm taking every opportunity.
Happy Black History Month, Ruta Podcasters.
Happy Black History Month. For those of you that get to even acknowledge this, most of y'all going to be at work all month. Our president. Anyway, but let's take a look at this part that's not talked about enough. The absolute excellence that is often Black folk that aren't seen. So we don't talk enough about the decade-long career of the person that sets the tone on most every major show and production, MC Lyte.
Her voices has been everywhere.
Everywhere.
She was just at the Super Bowl. She was at the Grammys. I don't know how she got into that profession, but whoever told her to do that, they nailed it on the mark. She has the voice.
She nails it every time.
Yeah.
She sets the tone. Mm-hmm. She is the thermometer on those events. So even behind the scenes, Black excellence. Women.
Yeah.
Can't tell me nothing.
Of course.
Absolutely not.
Right. Who else would it be? Built on the backs. Built literally this country on the backs of us.
I will tell you so that you think I'm cool. I did actually this time listen to Billie Eilish's. I did not. I did.
Now, let's say, because she didn't take home a single Grammy, which I think was a bit crazy. I think her Birds of a Feather, that was like the biggest song of the summer. That definitely should take home at least something. They didn't give her a single Grammy. Now, I thought that was a little crazy. But I will say there was so much talent at the Grammys this year.
Yeah.
Every performance killed it. I mean, Bruno.
They did. Oh my gosh, that was so good.
Monet, Michael Jackson. However, I feel like I wish they would have got somebody else to do that, but I love her, so she killed it. But that was great. And Stevie Wonder, love him. There was just every performance, there was not a single bad performance.
Did you see the footage? I'm going to spill a little tea and then I'll come back. I'll put it back in my bag.
Okay.
Did you see Janelle Monáe come for Nelly at her concert?
She did?
Oh, she called him out about performing at the...
We can't mess with you anymore. That was hurtful. And Snoop and Wild Wave and yeah.
So we have, we're hip hop all the way in this household. So we have coasters with hip hop artists, and we had to, we had Snoop, but we can't use Snoop.
Wait, Snoop, you got it. Jay, you can stay because is this Jay? We don't know. Y'all let us know. We haven't been able to.
Jay Jason. I know we need to ask the artist that did it.
But yes, he can stay because he got he's a little crooked too, but. He's with Beyonce. She loved him, I guess. Mm-hmm. Even though he cheated on her, I'll never forgive him for that. Mm-hmm. That's crazy. Do you
know them personally?
I don't, but that is just crazy. Beyonce. See,
if that happens for Beyonce, like none of us are. Yeah.
That's what nobody's saying. Mm-mm. Yeah.
Okay, well let's switch gears. We said we weren't going to talk politics, but we've talked politics. So, talk to me a little bit about. Not a lot of surface conversations happen in this household. Sometimes I wish it would. Mm-hmm. Sometimes in your line of questioning, I wish it would just be something like the weather, but you've never been like that. So talk to me a little bit about, then I will promise to get off the administration. Talk to me a little bit about what it feels like to come into this world and all you've known is the Obama administration. And now, what does that feel like at your age? With the current administration?
I think it feels like we're taking like multiple steps back. I think I've said it multiple times too, just how I can like literally pinpoint and feel the difference of when like Obama was in, and even like kind of like my middle school to early high school experience, like 2014 to about like 2019, 2018, I could literally like I remember it just being such a like a like a so much optimism in the air. Did I say that word right?
Yep.
Optimism. Yeah. So much optimism in the air. Like everything finally felt like we were moving forward and progressing. And now we're in 2025, yet it feels like we've taken so many steps back. And that has been crazy. Like I remember when Obama was president, like the biggest uproar was that he chose to wear a brown suit. And now every week.
Yeah.
I mean, this one January felt like maybe 5 months, maybe
Are
6.
You kidding? A year.
It was so long.
Why were we in January so long?
I mean, I feel like, and it was even worse for me. I was waiting for college decisions. I was just like, it was just so, I was just like it just dragged.
I was telling Kristen Campbell, aka best colleague ever, she said to me one day, she's like, "Happy 45th day." I mean, it was like Happy 45th day of January.
Literally.
Why was that?
And there was so much that happened, and he hadn't even been in office a month.
You talk about coming out of the gate hard. Yeah.
And then he decided to let us know that he was going to declare February Black History Month. We were going to celebrate anyway, but
surprise.
Thanks, I guess. Like, thank you. Yeah, no.
Yeah.
It's been long.
So do you think I've decided now, and maybe this sounds hopeless, but I've kind of reconciled that I probably will not see a female president in my lifetime. Do you think you will?
I hope I will. I don't know. It's hard. You know, I'm a very optimistic person, so I always like to speak, life, power of the tongue, and whatnot. So I would love to say yes, but even given the fact that we just had one of the most maybe qualified, overqualified, and candidate that seemed like there was no other right answer, and she still couldn't do it. So I don't know. And it kind of feels like a tease. Like I even remember like Hillary Clinton. I can distinctly remember when Hillary Clinton was running as well. And we just like really thought. It was like we were so close. And then every time it's those like people that come out the woodworks because you have to vote. You have to vote.
Let me ask you this. Do you think that there was an impact on the fact that Vice President Harris only had 100 days to knock that campaign out? Do you think there was an impact? Did it impact her?
I mean, I think it would be naive to say it didn't. However, I do think in the 100 days, however long she had, she
rocked it.
Ran one of the best presidential campaigns we've ever seen. Like one that is going to be studied in history from
in the textbooks.
In like college textbooks, political science classes, all across. And by future presidents as well. I think she had everything. It was a beautiful campaign. You couldn't even tell that she had that much time.
I know you have a lot that you want to do. Would you ever run for office of any kind, local government?
I don't know. I don't think it necessarily aligns with my like dream, but I think like I always thought about being the president one day. Cause you know how like every parent tells their kid that.
I don't ever want that job.
I don't know if
I know for a fact.
Like, cause then you can never go back after that.
Privacy gone.
Like you have to have Secret Service.
But I just want to get some froyo. Like I don't.
That's what I'm saying. I don't know if I could do that.
I don't think I could do it. I don't think I could do it.
But it's somebody's job. Hopefully, it's another Black.
Well, let's switch gears a minute and talk about your future. So you were mentioning college applications, waiting on answers. Cannot believe. I know every parent probably says it went so fast. She was just in the car seat. But I actually like legitimately feel like that. Mm-hmm. And so I know you're blowing out of here on the next thing, smoking. You're out of here. But talk about why you're so excited about college and what do you hope it brings you?
I hope it brings me so many things. I think all my life I've kind of had a harder time because I've been on a maturity level just ahead of a lot of my peers because my parents raised me right. So it's kind of has always been hard for me to meet that, where everybody else is at. So I've always
You
kind of
equate your maturity with your parents raising you right?
I think a big part of it,
You
yeah.
don't think it's just you just came in
It's me. I think
straight up old
part of it's
soul?
me, but I also think, you get out in the world and you realize a lot of parents did not raise their kids
Oh,
like correctly whatsoever.
I hope that's recorded.
So yeah, I think that we I think that I definitely
Wait right there. We hope you're enjoying the episode, but I want to take a minute to talk to you about leadership. Leadership is hard. We do not name that or claim that enough, but it doesn't have to be. Leadership Lounge is a membership based, safe, courageous, helpful, authentic space to explore all aspects of women who lead and much more. For just $10 a month, you have access to a variety of offerings, including a members only webpage that allows you to access peers in this environment of growth and support, as well as office hours, virtual training sessions, webinars, and think tanks and more. You can find out how to sign up at PamelaBensonOwens.com.
am just so excited to finally kind of take that step. I think it's gonna finally put me where I've always felt like I've wanted to be at. So I'm really excited about that. And I really can't wait.
Do you think you have to go to college to be successful?
No, I think it's been proven that you don't, but I think education is something that nobody can take away from you, and especially with everything going on in the world, it's definitely something that is needed with all of our rights being taken away constantly. And that's the one thing that you have. So I definitely think it never really crossed my mind that I wouldn't go. I don't think y'all made it an option. Obviously, you would support me if I really didn't think it was what was for me, but it was just kind of known that I was gonna pursue higher education.
So, tell me this. What is something that you know about yourself, like now, as you're finishing out your senior year, heading off to Italy for a trip, all the things? What do you know about yourself now in this present moment that you did not know about yourself even like a year ago?
Hmm. I think I know who I am a lot more. And just every day, I'm continuing to grow in that and learn who I am. I feel like I've always known, but I have just, you know, endured a lot of things that have led me to just doubt that at times. And so as I get older, I'm just becoming a lot more sure in me and where I give my energy and who I let into my life. And I think that has just really, especially in these last few years of high school, has just given me the foundation that I know I'm going to be successful in the future because I've learned these things early on.
Painful or not, because I think that what you are frequently around becomes your frequency. So, what do you, at the end of the day, what advice would you give to people about who they hang around with?
I would definitely say that make sure you are spending time with people that also value you and have shown that and showed up for you in ways. I think reciprocal relationships is something I was really trying to prioritize in the past few years because that's something I didn't have um, a lot of in my life. I was giving a lot and pouring a lot into people's cups and I wasn't getting it back. And not to say that you have to get something back from every relationship, but you shouldn't be the only one pouring into it. And so, yeah, not everyone is deserving of my energy because I bring so much to the table. I'm such a good friend. I'm so supportive.
Rooted podcasters, we are so sorry, but unfortunately, we lost the rest of the footage on this episode. So we want to thank you so much for watching, and we can't wait to see you in next week's episode. Rooted episodes come out every Friday at 7 a.m. Central Standard Time. Stay rooted.
Thanks for tuning in. More episodes to come with Allison Sinclair Owens. And ask us questions. We're an open book. Ask us anything. We're willing to answer anything. Thank you so much for your loyalty and for tuning in each week.